Okay, so we've spoken about doctors A, B, C, D. Okay, so what is the first one? Danger. When we come into an emergency, we want to check for danger. Then we want to check for response. Immediately after, we want to send for help. And what's the number? 000 or even 112 on your mobile. I didn't mention that before. Then we want to check the casualty's airway. Then we want to check their breathing. And we listen for how long? 8 to 10 seconds. And then, if they're not breathing, we commence CPR or compressions, doing 30 compressions at 2 rescue breaths. And as we said, the Australian Resuscitation Council guidelines state that you do not have to give those breaths. You, as the rescuer, can continue just doing compressions only. And we won't stop compressions until, number 1, the person starts to breathe. Number 2, if you're physically exhausted and you cannot continue. Number 3, if a paramedic arrives and they tell you to stop, CPR. And number 4 is obviously when you're in danger. There is another one when we administer the AED, the automated external defibrillator, where we would stop and cut the clothing off the casualty and and ensure that the chest is bare. That includes females with bras or excessive jewellery, so we remove them out of the way. To administer the AED pads for administration of the defibrillator. And obviously follow the instructions of the defibrillator. Have we got any other questions in relation to first aid?
Tony.
Yes.
Tony, could you please explain to me the first aid procedure for if I find someone bleeding from the ear?
Very good question, Aldo. Thanks. Bleeding from the ear is a very dangerous situation to come across, obviously. So depending on the ear, so if it's bleeding from his right ear, for instance, we would have to place the casualty down, leaning on his right side. If it's from his left ear, obviously we have to do the opposite and lay the casualty down on his left side. Underneath, we want to capture what's coming out of the ear. It's very important too. Doctors or the paramedics would want to keep this for further testing. And if we're placing something down underneath the ear so we can capture what's there, they could take that away for more tests. Now, the question is, what if they're bleeding from both ears? This was a difficult situation to come across. So if the patient's bleeding from both ears, our best chance is we need to pick a side. We don't let them sit up or raise their head or their legs or anything like that. We'd have to lay them down and pick a side in the recovery position, whether it would be left or right, is good enough on there. So any questions? Yes, Jeremy.
Hi, Tony. Can you please explain what the chain of survival is?
Thanks, Jeremy. Good question. The chain of survival includes early call for help, early CPR, early defibrillation, and early advanced care.